Hey everybody, welcome to another Fun in 5. Today I'm bringing to you Flamecraft by Cardboard Alchemy. This is a dragon-themed worker placement game with a shared engine building mechanic. Playable for, how many players here? I think 2 to 5? 1 to 5 players. There is a solo mode. And for ages 10 and up, takes about an hour to play. So I'm here to share with you what I like about this game. I just got it from Kickstarter about a week and a half ago and had a chance to play it a couple of times and really enjoyed what I've seen so far. So the first thing that I like is the art and the theme of the game. I'm always a sucker for fantasy, but normally I'm into high fantasy like swords and magic and sorcery and combat and blood and gore. I love that stuff. I read about it, I play it. But this game takes it to a much lighter level. If you take a look at some of the artwork that I'll share on the screen, or the miniatures or the tokens, it's a very family-friendly, fun dragon theme to it. The art by Sandra Tang is phenomenal. It's kind of a watercolor-esque style, comic booky look to it, and I just really like how she characterizes these dragons. And they're not big, massive dragons. They're little teeny dragons, maybe the size of a dog or a cat, and they work in this town with the humans to create delicacies and shops that are really fun to look at and play and read through. So I like the art and the theme style of the game. It's different than anything I've played in terms of fantasy, and I think it's really cool. The second thing I like is the really rich quality components that are in the game. Now I do have the deluxe version here, so my components are a bit higher than maybe you'd find in a retail store if this goes to retail. But it does come with some good core components regardless. I'll talk about the deluxe components because that's what I have. So first off is the minis. There are 6 dragon minis. They look absolutely fantastic. They've got that cute whimsical dragon style to them. And this deluxe set actually came with the original wooden meeples as well for the dragons, which are not bad on their own. The functionality of them is very simple. You just move your dragon around the town to do what they need to do. So that's one component I like. The little bits, the wooden bits, they come as cardboard tokens in the regular game, but these are nice, well-shaped. They're small, but they're functional little tokens, and you're going to collect a lot of these in the game and use them back and forth back to the bank. And they come in these really wonderful game trays, 2 slots. So if you're playing across the table, you each have your own set of tray there. The neoprene rollout board or mat is really cool. The cards are fine quality. They're Euro-sized cards. Nothing wrong with those. And one of the heavier duty things is the coins. Again, in the deluxe version, these coins are super thick, super heavy. You can hear the sound of them. I'll show them on the screen. But they're really well-made coins that serve the same function as any other game with coins. You just use them, earn them and use them, but they feel very tactile. So there you go. Those are the components. Really like the components in this game. I would bring the game to the table just to enjoy the components that it came with. They're that good. The third thing I like is the concept of the game is a shared engine building mechanic. And it's shared in more ways than one. So it's shared first off in that everybody shares the locations that you go to, and you can build up those locations with enchantment cards, thereby making them give you more resources when you go there. Not just you, but any other player that goes there. So the player that places the enchantment gets points or other rewards sometimes, but everybody benefits from the extra iconography that's put on the locations. So that's one part of the engine building that's shared. The other part is the placement of dragons. Every dragon that is placed at a location also gives extra resources and gives you the chance to fire it up, giving it a special power. And so when you make a location have a third dragon or extra powerful, everybody else gets that same benefit if they choose to go there. And that's a neat component that while you're building up the town, it's a community. Everybody's building up to make the whole town more prosperous. Even though it's a competitive game, there's a community element to it like that. So that is the third thing I like. The fourth thing I like is the dragon powers themselves. Now, there's 2 different types of dragons. There's the core dragons, and again, I'll bring them on the screen, but they each have their own individual power, and they all have different names, but anything of the same color has the same power. So the red dragons or the meat dragons always place a new dragon in town if you choose to use them. The potion dragons, swat dragons, the bread dragons, draw dragons, so they all do different things in relation to their color. But there's also the fancy dragons, and I think these really make the game in terms of changing up your style from game to game and having variable win conditions, because they each give special points that you can either use in-game if they're a sun dragon, or you get at the end of the game if they're a moon dragon. And those points could be as little as 2 or 3, but it could be as much as 6 or 7 or 8 points for a single dragon, which is a lot of points in this game. So that's the fourth thing I like, the dragons, not just the minis, but the cards, and like the, I can't remember what these ones are called, but fancy dragons and basic dragons. Artisan dragons is what they're called. Player reference card showed me that. All right, and the fifth thing I like is the location card. So the game starts with 6 core location cards that you put on the board. It doesn't matter where they go, because you can literally transport anywhere in the town on each of your turns, except for the place that you've been. But the cards all have some cool names, like there's Dragon Alley, or Hedges and Hedges, the Oh My Ward, the Drake of Cakes, the Scale Mail Post. They all have very thematic names, which ties back into the first thing I like about the game is the theme, and sort of the enchantment cards, the Heart of Flame, the Ring of Destiny, the Dwarven Stout, all very thematic. But the locations also give unique powers. So it means, in any given game, you won't have any more than 14 locations, and the game comes with, at least the deluxe version came with about 20-something cards. So I know in any game I play, I'm not going to have all the locations. And in some games, you may not even get all the locations that you do have out. But they vary up the game in terms of the resources that you can get, the special powers on the locations, how often you might go there, and sometimes they work well in tandem with the fancy dragons. So, and kind of adding to the replayability that I like about the locations, the game also comes with a bunch of little special character cards you can give players that they start out as that dragon, and that can give you a unique power that also creates some variability in the game. So there you have it. So far, when I played the game, I've enjoyed it. I don't ever get tired of this art style. It's really fantastic. And the game itself, I think, is good for families, but I think it's good for hardcore gaming groups as well, as something lighter and enjoyable to play instead of constant cutthroat, even though it is player versus player game. If you have this game and you've thought that, if you like it, or you had the regular version and you have any comments, throw it in the YouTube comments. And thanks as always for watching. Have a good day.